Willkommen, bienvenue. Welcome once again to another live stream with my dear friend and client Karen Bashford of the Empowerment Mentor. Now, I'm not going to get into the whys and wherefores, why we're talking about this, but it's an important question nevertheless. Why do we need to ask ourselves questions when we're stuck? So when you think about it, when you're stuck, other than the panic, you often find that you don't know which spade or which implement to use to dig yourself out of the situation. That's been your experience, dare I say it without alluding to too much, recently.
Yeah, in the last week, I've literally been stuck, and it's been so frustrating because I have a project that needs to be moved forward, but no matter what I did, I would not make a final decision. And it was like, I sensed there was something because I very much
It
feel
wasn't you
things.
just being difficult or panicky or something. There was a fundamental bit of information that needed to happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about it was, it didn't matter how much I tried to move it forward, I would instantly, when it come to making that final decision, say, no, I'm not pushing the button today. I'm not sending that off. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And it was like, why the hell not? And that's not me. I am a kind of person that makes a decision and just acts on it.
Right.
And it's like, it just wasn't happening. And I realized that for the last week, I'd been asking myself a question: why won't I push this forward? Why aren't I committing to it? Because it had to have a commitment, because there's a large sum of money involved. And last night I was just laying in bed thinking about why I wasn't, and all of a sudden there was this epiphany moment of, Karen, you've not physically seen a copy of what you're sending to print. I'm visual. I have to see things. And yes, I've seen a computer view of it. That's not the same. I've not physically held it. I've not physically been able to put it in front of me and stare at it. And it's too big to be able to print it on any printers I've got. It's got to go to a specialist printer. But I hadn't realized that being visual, I have to physically see something in front of me.
And dare I say it, you wanted to hold it as well. Almost that kinesthetic thing where you this is a real thing now. I can make a decision. Right. So what was the question you were asking yourself?
There were several. One of them was, why not? Why aren't I prepared to push it forward? What do I need to know? Because I find quite often when I do get to that point where I'm ready to do something, but it's not happening, there's always a piece of the puzzle missing that I haven't picked up on. Whether it's something that I need to read, whether it's something I physically need to see. Why aren't I moving it forward is a good question to ask. I never use the word how, because I know if I use the word how, my brain is just going to go, I know what the answer is, and then proceed to give me a whole load of rubbish because it's relying on what it already knows. When I get stuck, I always go back to my intuition, because it's my intuition that's actually telling me you're not moving this forward. But because I haven't asked the relevant questions, it can't tell me what the problem is until
Well, it wasn't being very cooperative, was it? Because you spent the last week beating yourself up over the fact that you wouldn't let yourself knock the hammer down and start the whole thing.
But it's like anything in life, unless you ask the correct questions, you're not going to get the correct answers, are you?
No.
So I was asking all kinds of questions. Well, I need this then, and I need this then, and if I bring this in, and if I do this, and if this is happening, because it's a big project I'm working on. And it was like, no, that's all totally irrelevant. It's this one thing. I had not visually seen the item in front of me in paper form.
Right. And what you've done you think you'll be able to drop the hammer immediately, or at least know which direction you're going?
I can send the emails off that need to go off to start the process. And that is simply because it was like, well, why don't you go and get a copy printed for yourself? Because it's such involved work with the actual printer I've arranged that it was going to take too much time. And basically, it wasn't a viable proposition for them because of what's
it's not.
involved.
I think this the type of thing you're doing. It would mean having a one-off setup that would take a lot of time and cost a fortune. Whereas what you're doing is doing effectively an electronic print, which will just give you an idea of what it's going to look like.
Yeah, precisely. I can physically hold it and see what it looks like. That also gives me an opportunity to basically proof it, because I've said yes to this design without actually physically proving in front of me,
right,
it's okay. I rely totally on computer, which is something I wouldn't normally do anyway. I always like to print stuff off.
I'm very excited, ladies and gentlemen, about this whole project. I've not really been a major part of it, but I have been on the sidelines, and I've witnessed it from birth to, from, as they call it, ideation, from the first idea taking shape through to where we are now, where it's almost on the cusp of being a real thing. And just witnessing that kind of birth, that exploration, the ideas flowing around, discarding some, taking on others, moving the goalpost slightly, coming up with a slightly different format. Seeing that is miraculous. It's like seeing something arrive from nothing, and I commend you on it. What I would say is, sorry, we're cat sitting at the moment, and I can hear that there's a cat trying to dig holes in the carpet at the moment.
No, don't worry.
Yeah. But but the thing is, I can't imagine the stress you put yourself under going through this process. And there have probably been more than one occasion where you've had to sit back and ask yourself the question, what is it that I need to do the next step? Right?
It's been actually, if I'd realized when I first created what I'm creating, or even thought about it, I would have hesitated.
Right.
Because it's something I've never done before. It's something that is going to be new to the world. And
also, more importantly, there's very little to compare it with.
There is very little. I did a massive search yesterday to try and find some ideas to how to present it. Nothing there at all. It is totally unique, which itself is quite brilliant. Scary.
Yeah, it's brilliant, but also very scary.
Yeah, because I can't guarantee how well it will be received, although I do sense it will be well received. But there's nothing to compare it with. I can't even take it to people and say, play with it for me. Right. Because I have nothing to give them to play with at the moment, because I've physically got to arrange to print it all.
Oh God, it's a kind of circular thing in a way, isn't it?
Yeah. So I am relying literally on my own trust of what I've been given to move it forward and believe that it will be successful.
And you're taking a leap of faith, not just in yourself, but also in the kind of the people that you're going to present it to, that they're going to not necessarily be tied into the narrow box of saying it's going to be either this or it's going to be either that. They kind of, it is something that does require you to willing to suspend your disbelief in a way, because it's proposing an idea that might not feel comfortable at first.
But then,
sorry, you were saying.
The thing about it is, because I have such a vision of it, and because I'm gradually bringing it to life, I'm now getting ideas of how to present it in a way that is more mainstream, rather than what I talk about, which I think is very, very important. So everything I'm doing is going basically through a proofreader to make sure that it's more mainstream than how I talk and what I present, because obviously it's going out as a big project to the world, and it's got to reach sufficient numbers to be able to be worthwhile doing it.
The thing about any project of this kind with lots and bits and pieces in it, especially bits and pieces that are completely foreign to you, because if you go through it, you've had to come up and deal with ideas that you've never dealt with before. I'm fairly certain saying in your adult life, you've never had to design something like this before, right?
Mm.
So you've got all the questions about yourself, which can hold you back. Then you've got all the questions about it, how it will be received.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of it, will people buy this thing? Will they want it? Will they cherish it?
Yeah.
Will they love it? That's all these questions. And I know that this sort of thing can beat you into non-movement. You can just almost catatonic because you're not sure which way to jump.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you need to ask yourself the questions?
Yeah. It's like I'm working with a web designer at the moment, and she's going, do you want this, this, and this? And I'm going, I haven't got the foggiest. Because it's something I've never done.
Yes, it'd be like asking a cave dweller what kind of gear shift they want in their car. It's like, huh? Yes, quite.
It's like, I don't know. You tell me. Should I have it or shouldn't I?
Yeah, and this is frustrating, and also because I know from what I know of you, you want to get to the next bit where it's realized it's a real thing, and you can start getting people to interact with it, because that's the next step, isn't it? Proper interaction with the real thing, and getting beyond the ideas, coalescing, getting the printers in place to make it into a real thing, the way in which it's presented, logo, all that stuff, which is all, excuse my French, very fanciful stuff. It doesn't mean anything until the point when people actually deal with it.
Yeah. But I have enough people that I've shared the idea with, obviously people that I trust and will maintain confidentiality, because it is something that will need to be trademarked. So I'm dealing with trademarking, something I've never had to deal with before.
I know.
I've opened a cauldron, and into it has come all this ingredients that bit by bit is coming out, and it's like,
hey Karen, it seemed like such a simple idea at the beginning, didn't it?
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, I know. I'll have one of those, please. Like you could say, I'll just take that off the shelf and it'll be fine.
Yeah, so it's really challenged me, but I've grown through it as well. But it's also something that I've realized has so much potential to be expanded upon, that once I get through this stage and actually physically get it to print and get the website sorted and the trademark sorted, the potential of it is phenomenal. And that's what I love about it. It's enabling me to create a legacy that will be around even after I'm gone.
Well, thank you for mentioning the word legacy, because what Karen is also building, that you may or may not know, but I do bang on about it enough, is a podcast. Yes, we're going to talk about the podcast, the Empowered Women Life Leaders podcast. And in fact, if that link isn't enough for you, what I'm going to do is quickly provide you with, he says, hunting around for it, because I just put it here somewhere. There we go. Here's a QR code that will get you straight there if you want to subscribe to it. I do recommend it. There's some blooming good ones in it, and I know I would say that, but I edit them all, so I have to listen to them as they go. And there's some, as Karen knows, there are times I send her a message saying, asking about something about it, and that's because it gets your brain thinking. Some great guests, absolutely thoroughly recommend it. Now, on another similar but entirely different note, Karen is an empowerment mentor. And I say to all you people out there, I mean, particularly women of a certain age, but who are starting to doubt themselves, perhaps, or feel like they've got blockages to their journey. I hate using the J word, but that's what it is. Then why don't you go and visit that, but also start your wellness journey by discussion. And the easiest way is to go to her website. It's KarenBashford.com. And by the way, Little Bird tells me eventually when the project is realized, it will be on that site too. So hurrah and huzzah for that. But
actually, it will have its own.
Oh my giddy aunt, its own website. Giddy aunt, right? Okay, fair enough. But I would recommend doing that. So please go and check out the Empowered Women Life Leaders podcast. It's really a damn fine listen. If you are settling down to do the ironing, to take a walk, to go to the shops or whatever, put your buds in your ears and have a listen. It's available on Podbean, of course, on Apple Music, on iTunes, on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. It's there, and I thoroughly recommend it. Anyway, I think I'm going to say, look, thank you very much for what is an excellent topic today, Karen. And if you guys out there are stuck, it might be for want of asking yourself the question, what is it that's stopping me from making this decision? What is it that's enabling me to take the next step? And you might, like Karen, lying in bed, suddenly you go, ding! Suddenly she realized. Yeah, you could ask yourself the question for the answer to come through, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You don't have to be Eureka and sit in the bath for it to fall in your head, or Newton and sit under an apple tree. It could be just pop into your head. But so I guess the message from today is don't be frightened to ask yourself the questions.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get the answer, and it may not be the answer you think it is. Don't presuppose. It could come along and completely Shanghai you. But the truth of the matter is, look at Karen now. She was all frustrated, and now she knows the way forward. It's good to see. All right. Thank you for watching, and keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars, and with Karen's help, hopefully you can take away those blockages, find your way forward. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.